sell online, in person, and through social media.
And we needed the planks. We need someone who can build those planks. I like being a producer. I feel like I'm pulling off a heist or something.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel like a kid, you're doing the right thing. We're living in an age of authenticity where authenticity is very, very pinnacle. People can read through that really quickly. You know what I mean? They want to get to the sauce almost immediately. So if you can get to the value as quickly as possible.
Hey, welcome to the first episode of the Shakir Hussain Show. I'm super excited because I have Frank here with me. Frank, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Frank Ponce, and whenever people ask me what do, I say I do my best.
Oh, that's not good.
I got to do a lot of things, but I wear multiple hats, mainly producing content for a lot of major influencers, which we can touch upon today. I also produce movies. I've done a number of different movies I had a film that went to Sundance this past year, and then I sold a TV show. So I've done the entire spectrum of content from YouTube videos to movies.
I love it. And so I was speaking this past weekend at this event, Ty Lopez's private mastermind event. And, you know, there was a whole bunch of speakers there. And then you got on. And first thing he said was he was reading Alex Hormozi's book on the way. So that immediately got my attention on the plane. And then you talked about how to break past 1 billion views. And, you know, in all full transparency, this is one area where I've not succeeded the way I've wanted to, just because I haven't been consistent. I haven't done things where I know I should have when it comes to YouTube videos. So this is why I'm making a real effort for the next 12 months, next 2 to 3 years. If it takes me longer, it's fine. But my first video was actually published on YouTube 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
13 years ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was making like 40 grand a month back then.
Oh, wow.
As a freaking 21-year-old kid, bro, 22 years old. So I still have that video of me 13 years ago making 40 grand a month using social media marketing. And so, like, long story short, I just figured out a few things like email marketing, paid traffic, funnels. Yeah. And that's what helped me generate like, you know, millions and millions of dollars. So I never focused on organic because I was like, if I can spend $1 and make 5 or 10 back, and I don't have to do all these other things. I show a lot of video ads, but now in hindsight, I'm like, dang, instead of me getting 1.5 million email subscribers, if I got 1.5 million YouTube subscribers, that would have paid way more in terms of brand, personal, like fulfillment, so just so much more.
Yes.
And so now I'm at a stage now where I don't have to do this for the money.
Yes.
I'm doing all right, made some money in business, in crypto and all of this stuff. And so now, the last probably 3 to 4 months, I'm like looking around, who's the best, who can I hire, who can I make friends with, who can I have in my mastermind, set up a YouTube, you know, I've been selling the videos for Mr. Beast.
Yes.
And then I'm at this event and like you're telling me that you work with Ty Lopez way before he was famous, last 13 years.
Yes.
And then Mr. Beast and a whole bunch of top people. I'm like, and Frank's super cool, so I need to. So right now, this is actually my house. This is my house, and this is the first time we moved the couches around and stuff.
That's great. Not a bad view.
Yeah. So let's kind of, we can take this wherever you want to go.
Yeah. I'm curious, what was your first video?
It was, first 1 or 2 videos was, basically, I was being interviewed by this guy called Mark. I had made like 40 grand in a month.
Okay.
And he was interviewing me because he wanted me to speak at his event.
Oh, wow.
So it was just like this couch, and that's crazy, in the hotel that was opposite Ty Lopez's event.
Yeah.
It was that hotel.
No way.
Bro, he literally sat me down and he was like, hey man, you're making this much money, how are you doing it? I was like, well, I'm using something called Twitter. You know, when I get leads from Twitter, and I use this traffic source called Fiverr, and I pay them $5, and then, you know, I get Twitter followers, and then from there they go into my funnel, and I get them on the phone. And dude, I was doing this 13 years ago, bro. High ticket selling, funnels, all of this stuff. We just never had these fancy terms for it, right?
Yeah. You're one of the earlier pioneers.
Yeah, early. And so that's basically how I got started.
Wow.
And then I made a few videos, and then I found out that if you can get the right ads, the right videos, and then you can put paid traffic behind it, you know, all of this stuff, you can just grow. And that's basically how I grew.
Right.
Now, 13 years later, I'm like, that was a mistake. You know, I always say I made 3 mistakes in business, is basically lack of videos, lack of books. Number one, highest value of your time is either videos, is videos and books. And then my third was should have launched software. I did launch a couple of softwares. Like I lost 100 grand here, 250, 300 grand here and there. Lost basically a lot of money in software, and I never pursued it. But now I'm like, hey, this is the three combination: book, videos, software. That's the path to like 9 figures to $1 billion.
It's very, I mean, I was just speaking on this earlier. It's very similar to what Naval was mentioning. The two most greatest assets you can have: content and code.
Yeah.
Right? If you can master any of those and really focus in on one of those, then you're great. You're set.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've always noticed all the people that I've kind of been in touch in my life, and if I produce content for someone who's really a master of code or a master of content, say like Mr. Beast, they know everything about that. They're obsessed.
Right.
They're, you know,
We're gonna dive in. So we're here
Let's
for
do
the
it.
next 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm kidding. Basically, I have a ton of questions, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
right into it.
Let's do
Right.
it.
So, for example, let's just start with a couple of different brands. Like, for example, Ty. You met Ty Lopez 13 years ago.
Yes.
What was that? How did you meet him? How did he come up with the idea of launching the videos? Because he really
Yes.
popularized influencer marketing, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
let's touch on that and go from there.
Yeah. So I met him through my ex at the time, and I was at his house in the Hollywood Hills. Popular for his garage and everything. If you've been there,
Yeah.
it's been in like, I think at one of the Grand Theft Auto video games. It's modeled off a number of different things, but he hosted a lot of parties, and we had was originally just a quick introduction. Ended up becoming a 2 to 3 hour conversation about movies. And I could tell he kind of does this thing where he quizzes people to see what they're, really, really skilled at, what they talk about on the weekends all day long. I could talk about movies all day long. Especially at the time, I was just religiously going to movies. And at the time, I was working about almost 2 to 3 jobs because I was first time in LA, and I really wanted to, my biggest thing was watching as much movies as I can. I always say that I'm not trying to downplay a lot of filmmakers or filmmakers I went to film school, but I have a saying that I went to films, not film school.
Okay.
So I was like the theater, to me, going to a movie theater was like my go-to thing I did. I made a pilgrimage there at least once a week. At least once a week. So I invited Ty. I was like, hey, man, I get, if you want to keep talking movies, let's talk movies. If you want to go to the movies for free, I can hook you up at the ArcLight, which is like, the ArcLight Hollywood, by the way, is like the top movie theater in the world, right? It's the highest grossing movie theater in the world. It's like this Cinerama Dome, the whole nine. Anywhere. I was a projectionist there. And yeah, I got to show him around ArcLight Hollywood. He'd been there a previous amount of times, but I just took him so many times for free. And then I got to a point where I got to quit ArcLight Hollywood, and we still frequented a lot of movies together. And so I became his movie guy for a long time. And then he knew I had aspirations to become a filmmaker, right? I was like maybe 23, 24, 25, and I was just shooting short films on weekends. I was just shooting just a lot of silly videos, even YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That was like my birth into YouTube. I was experimenting like a madman. And I think Ty kind of picked up on that I was kind of obsessed, so like shooting anything with my cameras and stuff. Yeah. You just saw me shooting with my drone earlier.
That was fun.
I love, and I know it's crazy to carry around 40 pounds worth of camera gear, but I actually love it because I have I'm just obsessed with filmmaking.
He's like a little kid. He hid under the table. On the penthouse, like on the deck. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I feel like a kid. That's what it is. I always follow my heart. If there's something that I forgot, there was a mentor that told me if it makes you feel like a kid, you're doing the right thing. So anyway, Ty one day hits me up. I think it was like around 2012, 2013. I'm at his house, and he's like, "Hey Frank, I think I want to do some stuff on YouTube. I think I want to get into, maybe getting into like what who Jim Rohn is, who like Tony Robbins is all." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm familiar with these guys." He's like, "Yeah, there's not really a guy doing that on YouTube. I think I want to be that guy. I think I am that guy." Because sometimes at some of these parties, he would, he leaves a really great impression on you. He was popular in Hollywood, but he hadn't yet expanded yet. So
What made him popular in Hollywood?
He'd have parties almost every weekend at his Hollywood Hills place, and he would just mingle with a lot of different, a variety of people. I met a lot of people from not just filmmakers or actors or models. It's not just that. I mean, there was like entrepreneurs that were there. musicians.
Well, you
just
met Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
What was the experience of meeting Joe Rogan like?
I met him a couple times. So I met him at the Comedy Store back in LA, and then I met him again in Austin, Texas.
How's he like as a person?
Oh, he's great. He's down to earth, very very jolly. Just a very happy guy. You know, happy-go-lucky. The guy's living his best life for sure.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. But he's one of the characters that I've met. You know, during my time in LA.
Yeah, and you also met Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon's
the-
funny.
You gotta tell us the funny story. That's
a gnarly story. Long story short, I won't get into the how I did it because I did get to his email.
Yeah.
I found his email. I had a hack of doing it or whatever, and I was just kind of like trolling him. But he did invite me to come out to SpaceX for an hour. And at the time, I was working on a project at Sony. I was kind of like researching a sci-fi project. And Ty always says this is like to go to the top, right? If you're trying to get to becoming an expert on something or investigating something, go to the top, see what they do first. So I was like, okay, for science, this is a sci-fi related project. I'd like to deal with some scientists that are high-level thinkers. I won't get into the weeds of what the project was about, but I was like, Elon is one of the top thinkers of our time. He's obviously a madman scientist. I want to throw a shot in the dark here and see what happens. And yeah, I got 1 hour of SpaceX because of that. Cool. And gave me a tour of the whole nine. And we kind of geeked out about Star Wars. I'm kind of a low-key Star Wars geek.
Okay.
And yeah, we were talking about like he named the Falcon after the Millennium Falcon. And anyway, we just we ended up snapping a picture in his cubicle, by the way. He has a cubicle at SpaceX with his engineering team. And I thought that was kind of one of the interesting moments I kind of picked up on. I was like, wow, this guy's like, he works with the engineering team. In terms of transparency, there's a high level of transparency. There's no like closed offices or anything like that. Everything's kind of open. There's transparent glass doors kind of thing. You can see he was in every meeting, that kind of thing.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. But yeah, I got to see SpaceX in Hawthorne, California. It's like about 20 minutes outside of LA, south of LA.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. I ran into him again, very briefly. And then Ty has run into him a couple times in Hollywood. He's notorious. Oops, sorry about that.
No worries.
I got the Inception cue as a thing.
Hey, I was gonna ask, this camera setup, is that good or should one be here and there?
Is this a close-up? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. If that's your close-up, that's good. Especially if you're going straight on, and then so long as this is your wide, that's good. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you could have them off to the side if you want, but that's not bad to have it off. Like that's gonna
How important is, like, let's just say for me, I'm right now at 12,000 subs. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe.
There you go.
Okay,
saying that.
Yeah, comment, like, and subscribe. Mikey, show them like, comment, and subscribe. All of those things. Let's just say I'm at 12K subs. What are the top 3 things I need to focus on to get to my first, say, 100K subs?
Okay, so the top 3 things that really kind of help you propel yourself to move forward in virality and or personality, right? Okay. If you have a really crazy, like, I don't want to say crazy personality, but if you can accentuate your personality in a way that like resonates this best true to yourself, you're almost like talking to a mirror of yourself. Okay. Then like think of the camera as a mirror, and not just your audience, but as like a self-reflection of you. Yeah. Right. The more authentic you are to that, then it's almost like your best friend.
Okay, I'm usually very loud. I'm like,
that's great.
I'm like loud. I'm like, now I'm like downplaying it because I want to be respectful. I'm usually like loud. I'm like shouting. I live in this big place.
No, that's great.
I'm like always shouting. Always like, Mikey, let's go. You know.
That's great. Okay. Play that up.
Okay, cool.
So there's that. There's content value. So as long as you're providing value, like as much value as you can to someone, you know, to your best friend or even to your 21-year-old self, what would you say to yourself at 21 years old?
And then in terms of like providing value, is that in the form of entertainment or education? Like,
okay, so this is great. Yeah, so in the lane you're in right now, I go with education.
Okay, pure education.
But as soon as you get to a certain threshold, then you want to start getting into entertainment.
Now, on education-wise, is it me just like teaching, or is it like me teaching and showing off the cars? And because I don't really show off as much in my 30s, right? In my 20s, I did through ads and stuff, through cars, through non-stop Ferraris and all of this stuff. But I can Like, do I show that off, or is it just like?
I mean, now I think we're living in an age of authenticity, where authenticity is very, very pinnacle, right? If people can read through that really quickly, you know what I mean? They want to get to the sauce almost immediately.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you can get to the value as quickly as possible, otherwise, I mean, you can show off your stuff. It's great. Show off your successes for sure. But I would say, yeah, I've always been of the opinion of providing as much value as possible. Like, give so many golden nuggets that, you know, people are just gonna like come to you for everything. You know?
So who would be like one or two examples of education being done right?
My favorite right now is Alex Hormozy.
Okay,
He's
Hormozy.
amazing. Like, the amount of value he's over delivered, right? From his books, from, you know, I just read Leads on the plane ride over here. That just dropped this past weekend, to offers that just kind of blew my mind in terms of like, oh wow, there's different levels of playing your offers, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just clear to me that this guy has done this many, many times before, has reiterated to a point where he can provide crazy, crazy value almost for free now. So in terms of who I follow in an entrepreneur space, it's him. And the way he's doing it, this is another way for content value, by the way. If you're going to play the education game, volume is very, very pinnacle. Volume, just push out so much content as much as possible.
Daily?
But great, yes, daily content, every day. Like, you got to break through the space. We live in the attention era in a way, and you got to break through that as much as possible. You know, so if you're playing the education game, volume is how I would play it. Entertainment, different story, different ball game. It's almost like you're almost playing on a level of not only just filmmaking or gaming, but you're looking at like reality TV. You know, you're kind of like taking things that work in those arenas and you're plugging that into entertainment.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, those are the three. Content value. You have. I didn't touch on filmmaking chops. The last one.
Okay.
So filmmaking and storytelling. That's probably the most. I'd say for me personally, my most favorite, just because I'm naturally a storyteller in other mediums. That's the one where you can still have those two qualities, but if you have the third one, you can really dominate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So storytelling chops or filmmaking chops. So one of the things I thought Alex did really effectively is what's called now the Hormozy style, right?
Yeah.
Where there's like titles or captions that are, you know, going right over my text right now, or text going right over everything I'm saying. That's become a style that he did because whoever his producer is or whoever his editors are kind of helped brought that for him to kind of be the main innovator of that, if you will. But that's just like a tool that you can use on CapCut, you know. But anyway, I digress. Filmmaking chops, at the end of the day, the essence of that is really being a powerful storyteller rather than the aesthetic and veneer of, you know, captions and whatnot. That's just a technique for filmmaking.
So that means you guys gotta like, comment, and subscribe. So I'm motivated.
Yes.
And now I'm gonna
or if this is going on IG, by the way, save. Hit save.
hit save on IG.
Yes.
No, but this is my plan. I'm gonna be bringing on guests.
Yes.
And I think this couch and a lot of this stuff is mainly for me, you know, and I'm just gonna document it.
Yes.
So like,
That's great.
I feel like that's like my natural state where if I have to like script it too much, it's just like, what do you recommend like for education? Should it be scripted or should it just be no?
No, actually, teach what you know.
Yeah.
Just really accentuate your personality a lot more. Go all in on your personality and go all in on your content value. With filmmaking and storytelling, that last part, you really don't need that if you're going in the education space, unless you want to have, or unless you want to experiment with a new format, right?
Okay.
Like, so the format of like the Alex Hormozy style, that's a new format that a lot of people are writing right now, right?
Okay.
So there's that. And there's a lot of different formats you can play around with. Like there's a podcast format I'm currently experimenting with Ty, actually. And there's a number of different things you can try to see, experiments, and see if it works. If it works, then double down on it.
This is my experiment.
Double down on it.
This is my
Okay,
experiment.
if it works, then double down on
Yeah,
this.
this is my experiment. So if you want me to bring guests like this, because also another thing what I've seen is I was looking at my strengths and weakness.
Yeah.
One of my strengths is because of my results and my credibility in terms of the business world.
Sure.
I can just pick up, like message you and be like, hey, come over to my house.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, I wanted you to come over, just like hang out.
Yeah.
We went to the mosque and prayed
Beautiful.
together.
Yeah, it's my first time going.
Yeah,
too,
how
by
was
the
the
way.
experience?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was one of the most like I felt. I don't know. This has really been an interesting trip for me. This is my last day of my European trip,
Yeah.
if you will. I've been in Europe for about a month now.
Okay.
What a way to go back to the U.S. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm leaving early tomorrow morning. And I'm spiritually feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Nice.
That's great.
I like it. So that was an experience. So I came like on a personal note. Then I thought, hey, you know what? Let's move this sofa around and let's just freaking
Shoot a
do this,
podcast.
right? Like shoot a podcast.
Yeah.
And then I was
taking action. You're a man of action.
yeah, and I was like, okay,
great.
I enjoyed this.
I love it.
I enjoy this myself. The viewers will get benefit from it because it's rare to have someone like Frank to come on. You can't really like. Are you available for hire?
No, not really. I mean, I take on
Yeah.
I'm very, very.
Yeah, so
selective.
basically,
It's my
Frank is
career.
not really available
Very,
for
very
hire.
selective.
He's not selling $100 courses and stuff, right?
Yes.
Like we work with the best of the best, and so it's a rare insight for someone to get. So I'm like, okay, that's high value, and then, me just shooting this and just publishing it with, to add more value to you guys. So, yeah, like that. That's for me. I'm like, I feel I could do this a
Yes.
lot, right?
Yes.
Whether it's in person or most of it will be actually in person if the person is traveling into London or they're in the UK. Otherwise, I'm just going to fire up this screen here
Yes.
and then just do. I've seen some other podcasters, they do this. They just get the guest on the big TV.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they get the big
Interesting.
guest on the big TV. I've seen Anik Singhal do that very well as well.
Okay.
And he'll just like sit in his office and
Yeah, and whenever it's best, in my opinion. I don't know what it is, but I've always seen. I don't know. It might be the video. I might be biased, but it might be the videos I consume or I've seen. The ones that really perform well, the personal ones, the ones that are like this.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's actual like we're in each other's space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more personal.
I can't
It's more,
remember
like,
the last time I
engaging.
did this, bro.
It's
When was the
like-
last time I did this, Mikey?
more-
Mikey! Yeah. Supposed to remember all of these things.
Anyway,
I mean, it's been a long time.
That's the way to do it.
Jeremy Minor in Funnel Hack.
Jeremy Minor.
That performed really well.
And that video did very, very well.
Wow.
Even though the lighting was shit.
The lighting was horrible.
Oh, wow.
But the sound was good. The sound was good and the content was good. Because basically he had scaled, he was one of my clients like 10 plus years ago.
Oh wow.
Paid me over 100 grand. I was 22, 23 years old. Paid me 175 grand. Last year, we've been friends and in touch all the time. Actually, he texted me like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But last year he did like $37 million. I think this year
Wow.
he's going to do 40 million. So he's blown up on social media as
Oh,
well.
that's amazing.
And you guys can go watch this video after this video in the comment section.
Wow.
So
yeah, I'd
yeah,
love to
it's a really good video.
I gotta
It's
see
one of the videos that I go back and I watch myself,
Yeah.
and it breaks down his entire content formula and all of this stuff. So in terms of next question, because I have quite a few.
Yes.
What are the mistakes? And you can be direct with me, right?
Ooh,
Like
okay.
you can see my channel and what are the mistakes people make when it comes to what the heck?
Yeah.
What better way to do this than we show it live? Right? Mikey, you're gonna have to grab your camera or something and figure out how to edit this afterwards, okay? So
My phone is this.
Yeah.
we're gonna do it.
I'm actually curious. Yeah.
All right. First impressions, and me, I have high levels of self-esteem, so you can go as hard as you want.
All right.
And good, bad, ugly, everything. So
All right.
there you go.
So okay, that's not bad. Let's go on your last video.
So this is the channel. From the description, like let's just go break it down. Like this. Is this any good?
Okay, so I would say it's less about this. This is great. This is
Yeah.
a great presentation. It's fine. I get what you're doing, 100%. I think your thumbnails are actually not that bad. I always go the very top of the funnel. This is fine, but the very very top of the funnel of any funnel. I mean, I'm talking to the funnel guy.
Yeah.
Titles and thumbnails.
Titles and thumbnails.
Titles and thumbnails. It's like if you have a really badass title and you have a really, really good thumbnail, you got to get a reason for people to click. And there's a number of biases we can go into later. But
What's
title
like
and thumbnail.
top 1 to 3 biases?
I mean, shoot. I like to have a combination of biases all at the same time. But here, let's just look at like,
It's literally you 100% guaranteed way on how I was able to do it and how you can copy and clone my success right now.
oh wow, it's really well edited. It's really well paced. It's really well paced. And your first 10 seconds are like good.
So you know that guy King? He calls everyone King.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Instead, do this. Piggyback on someone else's business. Give me just a few minutes and let me show you 100% guaranteed way on how I was able to do it and how you can copy and clone my success right now. My name is Shakim Hussain. I own these companies, funnels.com, wealthacademy.com.
Okay, first off,
yeah.
damn, really well done for the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Your first 10 seconds, you already set expectations, right?
Yeah.
That's like what you want to do. Now it's like getting a little bit closer to like 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds.
Okay,
But your first 10 seconds, you're going to set expectations of the viewer. So the viewer is going to feel like, you know, they want to be invested for the rest of the video. Why should they keep watching the rest of the video? Now, what you could do to improve this ad, I know this was uploaded 4 months ago, but I would cut away from, since we already seen this so many times, I would cut away to like other things that you'd see visually.
After 10 seconds.
So like B-roll.
No. Yeah, exactly. You could show B-roll within the first 10 seconds when you're saying this actually. Do this. Then not even this, it's B-roll. So I would say B-roll right here.
So that's why.
Piggyback on someone else's
5
success.
seconds. Yeah.
Something else like that. And then even give me the first few minutes, another B-roll right here, right? So if you go to like a Mr. Beast video, let's just show you for example, right? We're gonna set the expectations really, really quick, like right in the beginning, right? So I'll just show you something like I produced for, here, let's go to his actual channel. Okay, so we go to this.
Which one did you help produce?
Oh, you want to see like my big? I think I'm in his top 5. Yeah, I am in his top 5. So this is his top video, 488. This is one I did exactly a year ago.
Frank helped put this
And
together.
It's 286 million.
I rented a $1 million a night hotel room, and I also rented this $1,000 a night cave,
See, that's 5 seconds.
5
We're showing
seconds,
other
wow.
things.
this $10,000 a night
Another one.
palace, this $50,000
Another one.
a night island, and so much more.
Another one in the 10,
That's
11
11
seconds. You see
Wow,
what I'm saying? Like
Mikey.
I'm showcasing and managing expectations
Wow,
of the viewer.
look at
so
that.
now the viewer's like, oh shit, I want to see all the rest of this because this is going to feature all this stuff, right? You're managing expectations of the viewer. So if you front load as much as you can, I can't stress this enough. At the very first 10 seconds, I can show you the analytics. Well, I'm not going to log in. Yeah, I'm not going to go here, but we'll check out yours. You can see the drop-off rate in the first 10 seconds to a minute, how quickly people will just like scroll out your stuff or drop off and watch.
Mikey, you go
What
questions?
do you think about like
scissor reels, like an opening.
Sizzle
Sizzle
reels.
reels?
basically positions like who gives
So
it
people like Dan Locke would have done that in his
Sizzle
early
reels,
days.
yeah.
Alex Hormozi did do that in his first chunk of videos.
Yes.
You know, like to put himself as an authority, winning awards on stage. Like
Sure.
after our first 5 or 10 seconds. So like as soon as this 10 second goes, hey, in this.
After the hook, and then that's the intro of the scissor reel, and it goes.
Yeah.
the topic?
That's cool if so long as it's relevant to the video at large, right? So long as it's like this video, I know it's not a sizzle per se, but I literally make sure like this is what's going to happen. This first 10 seconds, this is what's going to happen for the rest of the video.
Okay.
That's it. And if you like that, if you're into that, then you can watch that. And retention, if it drops too much, if it's a steep like decline, then you haven't done a great job with your video, or at least managing expectations, right? So that was a top 5 video that was released like 10 months ago. I was producing that actually this time last year.
Wow.
I think I was in, I believe I was in Panama, so the $50,000 hotel, which was like a peninsula in Panama. It's pretty gnarly. Anyway, go to his latest actually, or yeah, I mean his most popular. I did this video. This was interesting.
one?
Yeah, the death video.
Wow.
That caused a little bit of controversy. That was 3 months ago. This was probably my most fun, if I'm being honest. The Antarctica video. That took a little bit of logistics.
How many people were there? All of these guys?
Yeah, it was like there was a total of, I think that was 11, 10 or 11.
That's crazy. I actually haven't watched this
A
video.
lot, yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. It was cold. And yeah, this is all real, by the way. Jimmy does not mess around. In terms of like in that hotel video, we literally flew all the way to Jaipur, India to shoot at that $1 hotel for maybe 15, 20 seconds of content.
Wow.
Yeah, it's legit. Like, no, we don't, and we legit went to Antarctica for this. When I went to Antarctica with this watch, as a matter of fact, like I couldn't connect it to my phone, and my phone couldn't connect to, because you can't really get any signal there. So you had to use like a sat phone, right? Like if you wanted to call back to the US or anywhere in the world, it was a sat phone to communicate. And so my watch would work, but it was like on the time, it was like on a different time zone. I think it was like still Eastern Standard Time or whatever I had this at. But anyway, to go back to your stuff, I'm curious if you can go back.
This was my first
go
video.
to your first video. Oh, wow.
That was 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
13 years ago, 21-year-old Shakir Hussain makes $40,000 a month.
That's a great title, man. Dang, that's a great title. I think now, if I were you, I mean, it might not make too much of a difference now, but maybe change up your thumbnails a little bit.
Okay.
Clean up your thumbnails. One thing that's worked for Jimmy is, at least what I've noticed or whatever, are primary colors now. Like primary colors seem to work. It can be a little cartoonish, but that said, for some reason it works. But your thumbnails are still great. Here's another thing for you. I mean, you try this maybe once you start getting a little bit more traction, maybe when you get past like 100,000 or even 1 million, is to convert your channel to other languages. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like have this in Espanol, and then have this in other languages. Like I think Jimmy's got like maybe over 10 languages now. I can't remember. I can't keep up. There's so many. And yeah, so when you go into other countries, you'll not have other people that'll resonate with your stuff.
Yeah. So like I made this video, learn this one scale,
Yes.
and it got like 3,000 views.
Yes.
But most of the videos get like only like 300 to 500 views.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of both the bad title and a bad thumbnail.
Okay.
Or maybe, yeah, that's probably what it is. This is title and thumbnail. I'm willing to look. Yeah, if you're down to look at your analytics, I can kind of tell it
show
almost
me.
immediately. So go to your most popular video. I'm curious. Yeah.
So this one, we've ran ads to it.
Okay.
So I would say it would be, some of them we've run ads. So that's the thing. They're not even accurate. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Like
yes,
we ran these as like $10, $20, $30 a day ads. And we ran them. But let's just say this one, right?
Is that an organic one? Mainly organic?
Some organic, some paid. What did
Okay.
you say, Mikey? Some organic, some paid?
Yeah, I think it's mostly organic now.
I can't remember. So let's just look at it.
Okay. Okay, scroll down.
Like this one only got the 9 subscribers.
Okay, so wow, that's not bad actually. Your ABD is not bad.
What's
Wow.
ABD?
Average view duration. So
AVD, sorry.
Yeah. Your average view duration is 10 minutes, and for a 25-minute video on this where you're sitting down and talking, that's not bad. You're at 40%. That's actually not bad. For an educational, let's see, 68% says they'll watch around the 30-minute mark. That's not bad. It's see how within the first, see what I was talking about, the first 15, 30 seconds.
Look at that, Mikey.
Like it just
Wow.
drops down. Like every video, even on a Mr. Beast level, every video spikes down so much. But so you want to try to keep that as a little bit more level as possible, right? As level as possible. You do have somewhat of a little bit of a plateau here, which is good. I don't see any spikes. Nobody's like bouncing crazy or anything like that. But I would figure out a way now. Yeah, I'm actually curious here. Yeah, there's a way to pump these numbers up. I'm curious, what would it look like on a paid ad or a paid video?
So paid video would be this one straight. So it would be, go over here, popular. This is a paid ad.
Yeah, let me see that, what the attention looks like. Interesting. Okay, scroll down.
YouTube advertising, 99%.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so your average view duration is 256.
50.
See, look how dude, see how banger that is? Your first 30 seconds
Wow.
are really great. Yeah.
Mikey, you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First 29 seconds. That's what we need to do. Okay, we need to dial in the first 5, 10, 20, 30
And then
seconds.
30 seconds, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's how it needs to be. 5, 10, 20, 30.
30. And then after that, your minute. And then there's
minute.
points right after that, like minute markers after a certain time. I'd say around like 4 or 5 minutes. If they're not invested by then if they have invested that far into the video, then they will still continue to reach to the end of the video. But you have to hook them like at the very, very beginning. The very beginning of video on YouTube is the most important. Well, besides your title and thumbnail.
Like stuff like even this, when he uses stock image.
You want to live the good.
Yeah, I like to avoid stock images as much as possible.
You gotta avoid.
Yeah, try to. Yeah, you want as authentic as possible, and you want to. I mean, that's actually, you mentioned. There's a question you mentioned earlier. I think this is kind of the question I'm answering now. Actually, what are some things you can do improve upon? I've seen a lot of this with a lot of different entrepreneurs. Is just try to remove stock imagery as much as possible.
Okay, remove stock imagery.
That's a big thing.
Generic vibe.
100%. It feels generic, and it's almost like if I talk to a Gen Zer, I'm not Gen Z by the way, but if I talk to someone, one of the things they say to me is like, "Oh yeah, it's a little cringe." You know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, come on."
He's that.
Yeah,
'Cause he's like 25 years old.
Yeah. They're just like, "Ah, man, it's cringy." This generation, they can read like real stuff authentically more than probably any generation before it.
So even when I said like I started from scratch, like that's me
What about
13 years
instead
ago.
of
B-roll actual scenes from film for like memes.
That'd be cool. Actually, that'd be playful. That's a fun way of doing it. I've seen a number of guys do this. Oh God, what's his name? I think it was like Jake Tran. I really kind of got caught onto him early because he does interesting documentaries. He kind of showcases the way things work realistically, right? And he uses movie clips all the time. Actually, that might be an interesting way of doing it. I haven't seen too many other entrepreneurs do that yet, so I should. Yeah, I would experiment with that.
What else could you advise here?
Let's see. I'm actually curious. Okay, let me look at like your last couple of videos. So your first minute, for sure, you need to like, okay. At the end of your video, I noticed this at the end of each video too, by the way. Yeah, go to your
Mikey, how do you go? Where do you go? The channel?
Yep, go to your channel. Yep, your channel right there. Yep, there you go. Don't sign off. I know this sounds weird saying that, but end your videos, your retention is, even towards the end of your video, is still important. So if you're signing off, I mean, yeah, I would just say, like, yeah, you have a lot of stuff here. Yeah. So people will click off of this. This is already, it's kind of being redundant here. This should be already at the bottom.
Okay.
Right? So when you're signing off, like, sign off almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's going to affect your retention rate.
Oh, okay.
Right? So your beginning and end. I mean, it's cool to have that at the end. It's
This
fine.
was an ad. So let me ask you this, right? If I show an ad,
if it's an ad, then you're going to want that.
should I just make it unlisted instead of even having it as a view?
Yes.
Okay, so that's also, I just realized when you're doing this, Mikey, like for example, even if this is an ad, you don't need to put all of this in here.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just have that link. Boom.
Down here.
Like
Yeah.
this, like this video. This doesn't make sense from here to there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, your call to action, if it's an ad, I understand it's a call to action, it's your ad, but if it's a video, treat it like a video, like a piece of content.
All right.
Yeah.
The Mr. Beast videos. Let's talk about Mr. Beast and
Yeah.
the secrets of Mr. Beast. How did he grow to 178 million subscribers? That's what we're discussing today. Let's go. Now we're starting the podcast.
It's a lot, yeah.
Now we're starting the podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Talk to me.
so a lot of it is, he says this over
How long
and
have
over
you been
again.
working with Mr. Beast for?
For a year. A little over a year now.
Does he pay well?
A little over a year. He pays very well. He's a very generous guy. He's a very, very generous guy. And Jimmy is probably one of the most gifted creators I've ever worked with. I've worked with a number of different creators, but he's just got a natural impulse for what not only he's interested, but for the audience wants to see, right? So
Where does that come from?
a lot of it is, in my opinion, is that he consumes the content that you create, right? So if like for me, for instance, if I know a lot about movies, I can tell if I come across a script whether a script is going to be good or not based on the movies that I've consumed or the content I've consumed. Just as Jimmy's seen so much YouTube videos, right? He's seen so many, like that's all he watches, or he plays video games. He knows what's good and what's not good. So that's one thing. That's just like one small thing, right? There's other things like he's one of those guys where even if he lost all his money, he's still gonna do a YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a level of obsession that he's just obsessed with YouTube. Just like, the way I relate to that is that I'm obsessed with movies. I love going to the movies all the time. I love storytelling. I believe like filmmaking is kind of like a higher art form, just as like maybe a singer is to like going to an opera show, right?
Yeah.
Like I know a pop star that she's a genius when it comes to music in general, and she can name opera singers. Not a lot of people can name opera singers, you know what I mean? So she's like that obsessed in music. Same thing with jazz singers, the whole nine. Jimmy's the same way. Like Jimmy knows a lot of different content creators. He's partnered up with a lot of content creators. He's given a video out to a content creator that he was like, I don't think it's worthy of my channel. Screw it. I'm just going to give it up to one of my friends. And it goes on and lives in his channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it fits, So anyway, I've seen that time and time again. And so that's another thing for it. And then
Where do you think that obsession comes from? Like,
for him, I don't know. I don't know what that answer is for him because I know he's been doing it for such a long time since he was like 11 or 12 or something like that. I can speak on my behalf where I picked up my dad's camera when I was like 8, 9 years old and never put it down. I just lugged that thing over my shoulder all the time, and I would just film random things. I grew up in the military. I went to like an air show, right?
Yeah.
And I would just like I'd reenact like Independence Day or some crazy silly war movie or something, and just like play with my toys and recreate stuff. I recreated a scene from like Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
In my backyard, and just it was just silly things like that. Just to me, that was where that really sparked my imagination. And I think for him, it's probably the same thing. It's almost like you're tapping into your childlike instincts, and you're almost playing now. You're playing with not just reality, but you're playing this to feel like you're fulfilling like a self, an artistic self-actualization, if that makes sense, right? So for me, like whether it's if I'm playing a drone, like you saw me, like I'm like a kid again. I'm just like under the table. I'm like this far away from hitting the building. I feel like a kid. I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, Then I'm still out flying. I feel the same way sometimes, even if I'm on a movie set. There's like 50 people on a set, and I feel like a kid, just like playing with bigger budgets. But there's that level of obsession where I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Like if I were doing anything else, I would be like, man, it's not related to what I'm doing, what I feel like is speaking to me.
Yeah.
That it didn't. I feel like it would be like close to not living my life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I think the same thing probably applies for Jimmy. I can't speak for him, but I think it's the same mindset of that, where he can't imagine doing anything else except for YouTube.
What's the hardest video that you've ever worked on? How long did that take? How much was the budget? How many people were involved?
Oh man!
How many views did you get? Come on, I want to know all of them.
Oh, you saw one of them, the hotels video.
How many views did that one get?
200, a little over 215, 280 or something like that, million, something like that. Yeah, the hotels video. And that was a new format too, by the way. It was like a $1 versus $1 million hotel, which was a castle.
How long did that take to make?
About 2 months.
Wow. How many people work on a video like that?
I don't know if this has been advertised or anything just yet, but I will say there is a team. I can tell
10,
you.
20, 50?
It's
like ranges.
It's a lot. So he has a big team. I'll say this. He has a really big team. And when you get to this level of quality, you're gonna need a team that knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
That have both thought this through in development and written it out and really kind of finessed it to make it, you know, as great as possible. Like Jimmy's all about make the best video possible. So we've all kind of like all together putting our brains together. Is this the best version of this segment, right? Of this video. So there's multiple segments of that video. There's responsibilities into those each of those segments to make that segment as good as possible. So it feels like an average Mr. Beast video is 5 or 6 videos combined. Does that make sense? So it's a lot of moving parts.
Intense, yeah.
Very intense.
Very intense.
And it takes a very intense personality and it takes a high energy level to kind of like bring all that together. So I'll say that. And then post is a whole nother ballgame. So there's 3 different levels of making a video. There's writing, developing, and there's directing, producing in the middle, production, and then post-production where you're probably finding another story there. But as so long as you're kind of following the rules of what you play with, it's like almost like a playground, right? Like you have a sandbox. All right, here's a sandbox. We play around. We do this. All right, we're going to another sandbox to play around, do this, until you get to the very end. And in post-production, that's when you have to be very, very critical because you can have multiple iterations of a story.
How many times would they edit one video?
Oh man, I've seen a lot of different versions of videos. I've seen, I won't say the client, but it's north of sometimes 50 to 60 iterations of a video. Yeah. And you have some of the sharpest editors too who really get it. And by the way, with Jimmy, his editors, they work around the clock. Like we know we have a timeline and deadline to hit, so we have to figure out not only are we trying to hit that deadline, but we have to really figure out how do we make that best story possible, the best video possible to hit that.
Do you have 10 hours to shoot a video, right? Let's just say.
Yes.
10 hours. What's the 80-20 of making that video work? Is it the big idea? Is it the content? Is it the intro? Is it what makes the video work?
Yeah.
If you have, so that's one question. And the second question is, 10 hours to shoot one video, how do you break that down from script to editing to thumbnail to title design, research?
Title, thumbnail, yeah. Well, title and thumbnail will come first, so
title and thumbnails come first?
Yes.
Before the video?
Yes, 100%. Title and thumbnail. You got to get them to click, right? Give them a reason to click. Think of it as like your movie poster, right? If you go to a movie theater, more than likely most people go to a movie theater, they already have an idea what they want to watch, right? But if you sometimes go to a movie theater, like I do sometimes, I'm like, oh, what do I want to watch? I look at the movie posters and I kind of I get into design. Now you're doing that with YouTube where there's a shit ton of people, other people that are trying to grab your eyeballs, right? So you're thinking of psychological things and what you can do there. So that I would probably, in 10 hours, I would dedicate the first hour of it, really thinking through, with a team, like a group of writers or a group of other people who are really tapped into YouTube, or not just YouTube, even I would ask my brother, right? Or someone who is an average person who's watching the video. So there's that, and then there's an hour of that, and now I spend another hour and a half, kind of outlining everything.
Yeah. To
see okay, this is what breaks down in each component of this video. So the average Mr. Beast video, you can look it up. I mean, you can just tell on his channel, it averages about 13 minutes. So we have it broken down, what do we got to hit at certain parts of the video, where we're going to put our sponsor, we're going to put what the first minute looks like.
When do you put a sponsor? Let's just say the video was 30 minutes and I was advertising a company of mine or something. Mm-hmm. At what point do I, what's the best, how do I work that out?
Yeah, so your sponsor, I would never put it in the beginning.
Okay, so some people, they'd be like, hey, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. This video is not sponsored by BetterHelp. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. You could say that at the very beginning. Say it, but don't actually have your ad right at the very beginning.
Okay.
Right? I'm just speaking from experience, I've never really seen that work. Otherwise, the drop-off is just straight up, it's a cliff.
Okay.
Right? I would put it right a little past halfway point of your video, no matter how long it is, because by then whoever your viewer is going to still be engaging throughout the entire video, or still be engaged
at
the end of the video.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to put it, and this is really the most important thing to say. is to treat your sponsor like as if it was content itself. The most climactic part of your video, that's where you should put your sponsor.
Okay.
100%. Because like, yeah, that, I mean, I could show you like a Mr. Beast video. The most climactic parts in every single piece of his video, the pinnacle of that video is a sponsor.
Say no more.
So that way you don't click.
Pull it out.
You're not gonna click away from it. You're gonna be so glued to whatever it is the piece of content is, and you're gonna be engaged to it. You're not gonna click away. Whereas if you look at other channels, I'm willing to bet you like the analytics on the back end, if they say their sponsor like towards the end of the video or towards the beginning or whatever, you're going to see spikes that drop off.
We're now going to shift to the laptop.
Like Antarctica, we literally named, I think it's around this mark here.
We did it! And now that we climbed the mountain, we get to name it. I think we should name it Shopify. Because to be honest, I couldn't have done it without Shopify.
We just conquered Shopify.
Go to shopify.com/behindbeast to watch my exclusive interview with Shopify. This is now Shopify Mountain. Carl, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Over.
We climbed the mountain. Did you see us on top of the mountain?
But yeah, I kind of got too far. But we're close. But what we're doing, the ad read is happening as you're climbing up.
Wow.
So we're carrying. Oh, by the way, the music is done by Hans Zimmer. So that helps build it up and everything. So we wanted to try and make it as epic as possible. This was done a little over a year ago, and we did it on the pirate ship when everyone's kind of walking the plank, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you can kind of see the most rewatched part of the video is this part because everyone's wanting to watch like who's gonna drop off and stuff, right? So we did the ad read here.
Oh, at least now I know the planks really do work, and they're just lucky.
Remember me.
Okay. Oh, do you use Shopify to sell anything? No. Then the God probably won't bless you. Let's see it. This is horrible. That's what happens when you don't use Shopify.
I'll miss room. I didn't mean to clap. That was rude.
Do any of you winners want to cut this next rope? You want to cut it? Come over here. Yeah, don't fall. Cut the rope when you want.
You praying for you, my boy?
Oh, snap. Wow.
It's so crazy right now. I've never been in open water before, and I think you put that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You see how like this is part of Shopify?
What? You can sell online where it's in social media. Good luck. Go ahead.
See how it's entertaining?
Yeah.
You know, like you have fun with your ad read this way, you know?
My
And your
gosh.
sponsor.
How did they make? Did you help them put this thing together?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a segment of the video, right? So
Yeah.
this you can break down a YouTube or you can break down any YouTube video, but every obstacle in here was a segment, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to really think through your segments on what's needed. So when this is like, we needed the planks, we need someone who can build those planks, we need to like actually ask the captain of the ship if it's cool if we can build out planks on the side of the ship, and how do we do that? It's pretty crazy. And to do this in the Bahamas too, by the way, in the middle of the summer, it's brutal. But you see how like that's in the mid part of the video.
Effort that they put in. That's why it's well deserved, dude.
Thanks, man.
It's well deserved.
It's not just me; it's the whole team. The whole
Yeah,
team.
you and the whole team.
There's a whole team.
Congrats on it, dude.
But yeah, production. Oh, and then production. I'd say it's probably, of course, that's where that's when you're pulling off a heist, if you will. I always look at each production. That's why I feel like I like being a producer. I feel like I'm pulling off a heist or something.
Yeah.
And that's where I have the most fun. A good chunk of your time will be that, but the most of your time will be at post, in my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my time has always been in post, just because like you're finding different stories,
Yeah.
you're finding other narratives, and you're trying to figure out which narrative is best for the video.
So on like 10 hours to shoot a video. Planning at least 1
to 2 hours. 2 hours. I'd say an hour brainstorming your thumbnail and
Title.
and title. If you do that shorter time, cool. Now you got more time to outline everything. And your outline, I'd say about 1 to 2 hours. You got about 4 hours of post. So, let's just say 1 hour for title and thumbnail, 1 hour for outline, right? I'd say about maybe 4 hours. Yeah, I'd say about 3 to 4 hours production, and then the rest in post production.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say about 3 to 4 hours in post production.
And the number one platform, YouTube over
My favorite
IG.
platform,
Yeah.
YouTube. Jimmy convinced me. Is like, hey, you know what the percentage of how many people have a phone, like an Android phone? Or I have an Apple, but like guess what most of the world has?
Wow.
An Android phone.
Really?
70% of the world has an Android phone.
No
Guess
way.
what comes pre-installed in an Android phone?
What?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes. Guess what
That's
most people can't
crazy.
afford in third world countries?
An iPhone.
Exactly. So they go to YouTube and they watch their favorite videos. Most of them, like when we're in Chile, for example, I was at a gym and I was looking like I was on the treadmill. Jimmy was right next to me, and I was looking on. I clicked on YouTube, and the number one thing that was trending on YouTube in Chile, the middle of nowhere, Punta Arenas, was Mr. Beast in Espanol. And it's like, wow, it makes sense because a lot of these countries they're probably Android users, and they're all watching Mr. Beast in Espanol. You know, watching because it's like that's the highest level of that's like their cable there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what those kids watch. I could show you a video.
How was the experience with Chile?
Oh man, it was crazy. It was cold. It was a windy city,
Yeah.
very windy because like you're at the bottom of South America, but you're also. I was also that put me in a different mindset of like, wow, YouTube is that powerful, or the power of social media storytelling is that powerful that there's like kids that came out, they found out that we were staying at this hotel, and that was like a whole nother thing. That was a whole nother like logistical concern, and yeah, I saw a whole.
Actually,
bunch
you showed me the clip.
Like,
You showed me the clip.
yeah, these kids just like all
Yeah.
like
Of all these kids.
waiting in the lobby and stuff for Jimmy and the boys, and it was a pretty surreal experience to know that it was like that level of influence, right?
Yeah.
That we'd really touched these kids. I shouldn't say it like that. I should rephrase that. That we had influenced these kids. No, I should say this. Cut all this part out.
We're not cutting nothing out. But it is, we're keeping it as raw as possible, right?
That we had found a way to tap that market in Chile that really resonated to them, and I thought that was a very interesting experience to kind of see that. In my experience, or the overall experience of Antarctica, that was probably like the calm before the storm, if you will. That was very inspiring to see that these kids came out, stopped what they're doing. They don't see celebrities in Punta Arenas too often, and they came out to this hotel to see if they can get a glimpse of Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I say this too, man. I like working on both sides of both movies and social media. There's not that many of us. I do see a shift happening more and more with social media. I remember the day someone came up to Ty for the first time. We were like in a Barnes and Noble, he was Snapchatting or whatever, and this guy came out and he was like, "Hey, I just saw you on a Snap story, man. Can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, me and a couple other friends are like, "What? What's going on here?" Ty, you become like a celebrity, man. Like some guy was just in the Grove and just saw you post this up almost immediately. So that said, there is a certain shift in not just the power of celebrity and the power of storytelling and influence, but like real like connection with real people.
Yeah. Because you've seen it from Ty doing education.
Yes.
And then Mr. Beast doing entertainment. So I would say like these are like two of the most prolific, like Ty in his own world kind of is like one of the top, I'd say 5 or 10, pass over 1 million subs, focusing on purely education, right?
Yes.
He's not doing pranks and spectacle stuff that he used.
But he will repost that stuff now. He understands the importance of entertainment, right? And he has showcased, like, he'll repost stuff on Instagram or maybe even TikTok. He'll repost stuff that he thinks is funny. You get a sense of his humor. I think that's cool. That's something I wish more educators would do, like to really showcase their personality more. And really showcase more of their story. Okay. That's really not just educating. You showcase your story and your personality, like you're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and people will connect to you in a much more authentic way.
Yeah, because I was talking to you about, hey, some of the videos I wanna record, which I haven't. Losing $5 million in crypto.
Oh yeah.
Getting scammed for 600 grand startup.
You should talk about that, man.
Nah.
Dude, if I were you, I mean, that's a great video in itself because it feels very personal, and I bet there's a lot of other people that are in the same
100%, dude.
boat as you that feel.
It's like the other day-
I've lost, dude. I haven't lost that much, but I was like, and I lost a lot. I was like, man, I felt like a gut punch.
Yeah.
I felt betrayed. I had a crazy range of emotions. I did not.
It's like if someone said to me
talk about it.
that they, like if I saw, the other day I watched this video and it's the guy who was like, he lost $10 million cash. And I was like, man, that's my guy. I can relate to him. And I watched the whole video. And then I saw like this video got so much views. And I thought, people that watched that specific video could comprehend what that guy's going through.
Yes.
I thought maybe I should start doing that.
Yes. Tap into that, man. Those are problems that other people can resonate no matter what the price is.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what the value of that, people will understand the feelings that you were going through, the number of emotions you were going through. That's probably one of the most important ingredients, by the way. I kind of forgot to mention that in the content value.
Okay.
Is it emotionally resonant? Does it elicit an emotional response?
Okay.
Because when you do that, the better you're at doing that, then the more engaged your audience will be and the more like connected you will be to your audience.
Yeah. Frank, I could talk to you for hours, dude.
I could do
Which
this all
we
day.
would.
We will. No, we will. We will continue to do this. for
Yeah,
sure, but-
100%.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you're not really that socially available, especially for like hire and stuff. But someone wanted to get in touch with you. What's like the best way?
Oh man. Well, I'll say this. I'm going to be a little bit more forward facing.
Okay.
I'd say the next year or two, I'm going to push a little bit more. I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit more. I'm kind of inspired by you and inspired by I'm inspired by a lot of things. But when I see other people like just show more behind the scenes, I love that. Right.
Okay.
So that said, you'll probably see more on me on Instagram for sure. You'll see me on YouTube at Frank Ponce. You'll probably see more of me very, very soon.
100%. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this was the first episode.
Honored to be here.
Felt like it was a
great.
banger. Thank you very much, my
Thanks so
brother.
much, my friend.
We have some food downstairs.
Yes.
We're going to go and get before it gets cold.
Yeah.
And so, if you want videos like this, leave me a comment down below. Subscribe to this channel. Let me know what your number one takeaway is. And I will see you in the next one.
Thanks,
brother. Peace.
Nice.